Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the hidden lunar facility Echo 7, watching the last traces of plasma fire fade from Earth's orbit. The Galactic Confederation's betrayal had been absolute. They had promised reinforcements against the Drachnid invasion, only to leave humanity to face extinction alone. But what looked like humanity's end was actually its salvation. "Status report," she commanded, turning to face the gathered military leadership in a cramped underground command center. Colonel James Martinez, his dark eyes reflecting the dim emergency lighting, stepped forward. "Operation Silent Shield is proceeding as planned, Admiral. The surface defense grid's final transmission has been sent. As far as the galaxy is concerned, Earth just fell to the Drachnid assault." Sarah nodded, satisfaction mixing with grief. The price had been high. Millions of civilian casualties in carefully evacuated cities, thousands of brave soldiers sacrificing themselves in carefully choreographed last stands, all to sell the lie that humanity had been wiped out. "And our underground facilities?" she asked, already knowing the answer but needing to hear it again. "All 27 deep Earth habitats are sealed and operational," Dr. Emily Wong reported, her tablet displaying scrolling status indicators. "The lunar bases are secure, and Mars Colony Gamma remains undetected beneath the polar ice. Conservative estimates show we can sustain our remaining population for at least 50 years without surface access." The room fell silent as the weight of their gambit settled over them. 3 billion humans had survived, hidden away in sprawling underground cities and off-world bunkers. The rest had evacuated to temporary shelters that would be destroyed in the final stages of the apparent invasion. In reality, those shelters would be recovered once the Drachnid forces withdrew, believing their mission accomplished. "Begin Phase 2, Sarah ordered. "Dr. Wong, you have full authorization to proceed with Project Phantom." Emily's eyes lit up with fierce determination. For 3 years, she had led the development of humanity's secret weapon, quantum phase technology that could render ships and stations virtually undetectable. It had been deemed too expensive and impractical by the Confederation's Scientific Advisory Board. Their loss. "The prototype is ready," Emily confirmed. "We can begin outfitting the Ghost Fleet within 6 months." Sarah turned back to the viewport, her reflection grim but resolute. The Confederation had abandoned humanity, expecting them to die fighting the Drachnids. Instead, they had given humanity the perfect cover to disappear, to rebuild, to prepare. In the coming months, as news of Earth's fall spread across the galaxy, humanity would be watching, learning. Their quantum phase ships would slip through Confederation space undetected, gathering intelligence on the allies who had betrayed them. The Drachnids would return to their territory, celebrating their victory. And in the darkness of their underground cities, humanity would forge itself into something new, something terrible. "Send the final transmission," Sarah commanded. "Make it convincing." The communications officer nodded, initiating the carefully crafted distress call that would be humanity's last official message to the galaxy. A desperate plea for help, cut off mid-sentence. Let them think they had abandoned humanity to die. Let them think they were safe. In the depths of Echo 7, surrounded by the last free military command of the human race, Admiral Sarah Chen allowed herself a cold smile. The galaxy had taught humanity a harsh lesson about trust. Soon, they would learn what humanity had to teach them about vengeance. "They think they've seen the last of us," she said quietly. "They have no idea what's coming." 5 years after the fall of Earth, Captain Maya Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the UES Wraith, watching her crew make final adjustments to the quantum phase drive. The experimental ship hung in the darkness of the Kuiper Belt, invisible to even the most sophisticated Confederation sensors. "Final diagnostic complete," Lieutenant Kai Chen reported from his engineering station. "Phase variance is holding at 0.3%. We're as ghost-like as we're going to get." Maya nodded, pride swelling in her chest. The Wraith was the first of humanity's new ghost fleet, ships designed to strike from the shadows and vanish without a trace. Dr. Wong's quantum phase technology had evolved far beyond its original specifications, allowing ships to slip between dimensional frequencies like smoke through a fence. "Status of Target Alpha?" she asked, turning to her tactical officer. "The Confederation's supply convoy is right on schedule," Lieutenant Sarah Hassan replied, her fingers dancing across the holographic display. 6 cargo haulers, 2 escort frigates. They're following the exact route our intel predicted. This would be the Ghost Fleet's first real combat operation. After years of silent observation, gathering intelligence on Confederation shipping routes and defense patterns, humanity was ready to strike back. The target was carefully chosen: a supply convoy carrying strategic materials to a Drachnid colony. The same Drachnids who believed they had exterminated humanity. "All hands, battle stations," Maya ordered, her voice calm but charged with purpose. Throughout the ship, crews moved with practiced precision, the product of countless drills in the hidden training facilities of Mars Colony Gamma. The Wraith's sister ships, Phantom and Spectre, checked in from their positions, forming a triangle around the approaching convoy. Like the Wraith, they were invisible to conventional sensors, their quantum phase drives masking them from detection. "Remember," Maya addressed her crew, "precision is everything. We take what we need and leave no witnesses. As far as the galaxy is concerned, we're nothing but pirates and raiders." The convoy drew closer, its crews blissfully unaware of the predators stalking them. Maya waited until the perfect moment, then gave the order: "Execute." The Ghost Fleet struck with surgical precision. The Wraith and her sister ships phased into normal space directly alongside their targets, their modified plasma cannons instantly disabling the escort frigate's engines and weapons. Before the convoy could even send a distress signal, boarding teams were moving through their hulls. "Cargo holds secured," the assault team leader reported. "Transferring strategic materials now. No casualties on either side." Maya allowed herself a grim smile. This was what set humans apart: the ability to strike without being seen, to achieve their objectives without needless bloodshed. The Confederation had taught humanity the cost of trust, but humanity hadn't lost its soul in the learning. 30 minutes later, the Ghost Fleet vanished back into quantum phase space, leaving behind 6 stripped cargo haulers and 2 disabled frigates. Their crews were unconscious but unharmed, their computers wiped of any sensor data from the attack. When they woke, they would find no evidence of what had happened, only empty cargo holds and disabled systems. "Transmission from Echo 7, Lieutenant Hassan announced. "Admiral Chen sends congratulations. Phase 1 of Operation Ghost Protocol is complete." Maya looked around her bridge, at the faces of her crew, all of them children of the Fall, raised in underground cities and hidden colonies. They had grown up with stories of betrayal, but also stories of hope, of humanity's refusal to simply die as expected. "Set course for Base Omega," she ordered, "and download all combat data for analysis. The next raid will be even better." As the Wraith slipped through quantum space, Maya thought about the message they had just sent to the galaxy. The Confederation would soon realize that their supply lines were vulnerable to an invisible enemy. They would waste resources on increased escorts and security measures, never suspecting that they were being haunted by the very species they had left for dead. "They thought they could forget about us," Maya murmured, watching the quantum field ripple around her ship. "But ghosts have a way of coming back to haunt those who wronged them." The Ghost Fleet's first mission was complete, but it was only the beginning. Humanity was rising from its grave, and the galaxy would never be the same. High Counselor Vexera of the Galactic Confederation paced in his private chambers, his crystalline form reflecting the starlight from his viewport. Before him, holographic reports detailed yet another devastating raid on Confederation assets. This time, a primary shipyard in the Centauri sector had been completely stripped of its prototype stealth technology. "How many attacks does this make?" he demanded of his advisory council. 17 major strikes in the past month alone," General Kavath replied, his scaled features tight with concern. The pattern is expanding. These aren't random pirate raids anymore. They're targeting our most sensitive research facilities, our prototype weapons, our quantum computing centers. And still no trace of the attackers. Vexera's crystalline structure pulsed with agitation. None. They appear and disappear like quantum ghosts. Our best sensors detect nothing until it's too late. Kivath paused. There are whispers among the outer colonies, stories about human vengeful spirits returning to exact revenge. Superstitious nonsense, Vexera snapped. The humans are dead. We made sure of that when we... He caught himself, but the words hung unspoken in the air. When we abandoned them to the Drachnids, thousands of light years away, in the command center of Lunar Base Echo 7, Admiral Chen watched the Confederation's internal communications with satisfaction. Their quantum phase technology had evolved far beyond simple stealth capabilities. It now allowed them to tap into any communication network in Confederation space undetected. They're starting to crack, Colonel Martinez observed, studying the neural patterns of the Confederation leaders. Fear is spreading through their ranks. Good. Sarah's smile was wolf-like. Deploy the Nemesis protocol. Across hidden bases throughout the solar system, humanity's ghost fleet received their new orders. The time had come to escalate from simple raids to psychological warfare. Captain Maya Rodriguez, now commanding a full battle group of phase ships, led the first strike of the new campaign. The Wraith and her sister ships emerged from quantum space inside the Confederation's most secure military installation, their strategic command headquarters. No alarms sounded, no weapons fired. The Ghost Fleet simply appeared, their ships hovering like spectral predators outside every major viewport in the facility. For 3 minutes they remained visible, letting the Confederation's highest military leaders see them clearly. Then they vanished, leaving behind only a simple message broadcast on all frequencies. We remember the betrayal. The effect was electric. Panic spread through Confederation space as similar incidents were reported at every major military and government installation. Ghost ships appearing and disappearing at will, demonstrating that nowhere was truly secure. The Drachnid High Command is requesting an emergency session with the Confederation Council, Martins reported, monitoring the diplomatic channels. They're concerned about the pattern of these attacks. Sarah nodded. The Drachnids had been the first to notice that many of the targeted facilities were ones that had played key roles in the fall of Earth. Though none of humanity's ships had yet revealed themselves as human vessels, they were leaving breadcrumbs for the more intelligent members of the Confederation to follow. Dr. Wang's latest report just came in, Colonel Martinez added. Project Phoenix is ahead of schedule. The new quantum phase generators are ready for installation in the orbital platforms. This was the news Sarah had been waiting for. Soon, humanity would be ready for the next phase, not just striking from the shadows, but reclaiming their place in the galaxy. The quantum phase generators would allow them to bring their underground cities and hidden colonies back to the surface, protected by fields that could shift them out of phase at a moment's notice. Send word to all Ghost Fleet commanders, Sarah ordered. Initiate Protocol Omega. It's time to let them start putting the pieces together. Throughout Confederation space, the Ghost Fleet began leaving new clues at each strike. Fragments of human technology, traces of Earth-based materials. Let them follow the breadcrumbs. Let them begin to realize the terrible truth that their betrayal hadn't killed humanity, but had instead forced them to evolve into something far more dangerous. Message from Captain Rodriguez, Martins announced. The Wraith Battle Group has successfully deployed quantum phase mines throughout the Drachnid home system. They can be activated at our command. Sarah nodded, satisfaction mixing with a cold sort of justice. The Confederation had forced humanity to become masters of stealth and deception. Now they would learn the consequence of that lesson. Send our final warning, she commanded. Let's see how they handle the ghost of their guilty conscience. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Confederation erupted into chaos as Ambassador Corell of the Arcturian Alliance slammed his tentacled appendage onto the speaking podium. "We demand answers." His voice reverberated through the chamber. These attacks bear the unmistakable signature of human technology. Technology that was supposed to have been destroyed when Earth fell. High Counselor Vexera's crystalline form pulsed with barely contained rage. The evidence had become impossible to ignore. Each Ghost Fleet attack left behind more concrete proof of human origin. Manufacturing marks from Earth factories, radiation signatures unique to human fusion drives, and most damning of all, quantum phase technology that the Confederation had once dismissed as theoretical. "The humans are dead," Vexera insisted, but his voice lacked conviction. The Drachnid fleet confirmed their extinction. Did they? Corell's eye stalks swiveled to focus on the Drachnid delegation. Or did they simply confirm what you wanted to believe, High Counselor? In the shadows of quantum phase space, the UES Wraith and her battle group monitored the proceedings. Captain Maya Rodriguez watched with grim satisfaction as the carefully planted evidence did its work. The Confederation was beginning to tear itself apart. New transmission from Echo 7, Lieutenant Hassan reported. "Admiral Chen says it's time for Phase 3. Maya nodded, sending the coded signal to her fleet. Across Confederation space, ghost ships emerged from quantum phase, appearing simultaneously above 100 worlds. But this time, they didn't attack. Instead, they broadcast a message, not in any alien tongue, but in clear, human standard. To all members of the Galactic Confederation, you were lied to. Earth did not fall. Humanity was not extinct. We were betrayed by those who claimed to be our allies, left to die while they watched from a safe distance. Ask your leaders why. Ask them what they feared so much about humanity that they chose to abandon us." The message played on repeat for an hour before the ships vanished again. In the Grand Chamber, the reaction was immediate and violent. "You knew." Ambassador Tilara of the Centaurian Republic accused the High Council. "You knew humans had survived, and you kept it from us." The Centaurian Republic had significant trade agreements with Earth, Colonel Martinez noted, monitoring the diplomatic channels from Echo 7. "They lost billions when we fell." Admiral Chen watched the political chaos unfold with calculated precision. "Deploy the data packets." Throughout the Confederation's network, classified files began to appear, records of the secret council meeting where the decision to abandon Earth had been made. The fear in those records was palpable. Fear of humanity's rapid technological advancement, fear of their adaptability, fear of their potential to eclipse the elder races. "The Drachnid delegation is requesting private communication with Earth's survivors," Martins reported. "They're offering to break from the Confederation in exchange for amnesty." "Decline," Sarah ordered. "Let them sweat a while longer." The Ghost Fleet continued its campaign of strategic revelation. Each day brought new evidence, new leaked documents, new proof of the Confederation's betrayal. Smaller member races began withdrawing from the Alliance, unwilling to face humanity's vengeance for crimes they hadn't known about. In her private chambers on Echo 7, Sarah reviewed the latest intelligence. The Confederation was fracturing exactly as planned. Fear of human retribution was proving more destructive than any direct attack could have been. "Message from Dr. Wong," Martins announced. "Project Phoenix is complete. All surface installations are ready for quantum phase shield activation." Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Soon, humanity would reveal not just their survival, but their transformation. The underground cities would rise to the surface, protected by quantum phase technology that made them untouchable. "Send word to all Ghost Fleet commanders," she ordered. "Prepare for the final phase. It's time to show the galaxy exactly what humanity has become." In the Grand Chamber, as accusations flew and alliances crumbled, High Counselor Vexera received a private message that made his crystalline form pale with terror. "Humanity sends its regards. The reckoning begins tomorrow." The sun rose over Earth for the first time in 5 years. Not the abandoned, irradiated wasteland the galaxy believed existed, but a transformed world. Quantum phase shields shimmered like gossamer veils as humanity's underground cities rose to the surface. Massive arcologies stretched skyward, their technology far beyond anything the Confederation had ever seen. Orbital platforms materialized in perfect geometric patterns around the planet, their weapons systems more advanced than any in known space. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of the newly revealed Echo 7 Command Center, now a gleaming citadel rising from the lunar surface. "Send the signal," she ordered. "Let's show them exactly what they created when they left us to die." Across Confederation space, quantum phase mines activated simultaneously. Every major military installation, every strategic shipyard, every defense platform suddenly found itself surrounded by weapons that had been hiding in plain sight for years. The Ghost Fleet emerged from quantum phase space in full force, not dozens of ships, but thousands. An armada born in secret, tested in shadow, and now ready to reveal humanity's true power. In the grand chamber of the Confederation, panic gave way to stunned silence as multiple holograms materialized. Admiral Chen's image stood at the center, flanked by the commanders of humanity's combined forces. "Members of the Galactic Confederation," she began, her voice carrying the weight of 5 years of calculated vengeance. "You stand at a crossroads. 5 years ago, your leaders chose to abandon humanity to what they thought would be certain death. Instead, they forced us to evolve, to advance, to become something far beyond what they feared we might become." Captain Maya Rodriguez, leading the Ghost Fleet positioned around the Confederation capital, watched as defense platforms tried and failed to target her ships. The quantum phase technology had progressed far beyond simple invisibility. They now existed in a state that made them virtually invulnerable to conventional weapons. "We could destroy you," Sarah continued, her voice echoing through every communication system in Confederation space. "Our weapons are already in place. Our technology has surpassed yours. The civilization you thought you had eliminated has instead become your judge, jury, and, if necessary, your executioner." Dr. Wong's image stepped forward, displaying technical readouts that made the Confederation's scientific advisors gasp in disbelief. Quantum phase technology had been just the beginning. In their isolation, humanity had achieved breakthroughs that the elder races had deemed impossible. "But destruction is not our goal," Sarah declared. "Unlike you, we haven't lost our humanity. We don't seek extinction. We demand accountability." The terms were transmitted simultaneously to every world in Confederation space. The current leadership would stand trial for their crimes. The Confederation would be reformed, with new checks and balances to prevent any species from being abandoned as humanity had been. And Earth would take its place not just as a member world, but as the enforcer of these new accords. "You feared our potential," Sarah concluded. "You tried to destroy us before we could surpass you. In doing so, you guaranteed exactly the outcome you sought to prevent. The question now is, will you learn from your mistakes, or will you force us to demonstrate just how far humanity has evolved?" In the Grand Chamber, High Counselor Vexera's crystalline form shattered in despair as the full magnitude of his failure became clear. One by one, Confederation worlds began transmitting their surrender, their acceptance of humanity's terms. From the bridge of the Wraith, Maya watched as the Confederation fleet stood down. No shots had been fired. No lives had been lost. Humanity had achieved total victory through intelligence, preparation, and the very technology their enemies had dismissed. "Signal from Earth," Lieutenant Hassan reported. "Operation Phoenix is complete. All surface installations are fully operational." Maya nodded, allowing herself to finally feel the weight of what they had accomplished. Humanity hadn't just survived. They had transformed their near extinction into a revolution that would reshape the galaxy. In her command center on Luna, Admiral Chen watched as the sun set on humanity's first day back in the light. The galaxy had tried to bury them in darkness. Instead, they had learned to turn darkness itself into their greatest weapon. "Send word to all commands," she ordered. "Operation Lazarus is complete. Humanity has risen." Throughout the solar system, cheers erupted as the message spread. The Ghost Fleet began standing down from combat positions, shifting into their new role as guardians of the reformed Confederation. Earth's surface blazed with lights as billions of humans emerged from their underground shelters, ready to reclaim their place among the stars. The galaxy had taught humanity a harsh lesson about trust. In return, humanity had taught the galaxy an even harsher lesson about consequences. But from the ashes of betrayal, a new order would rise, one enforced by the very power that had been meant to die in darkness. Humanity had returned, and this time they were here to stay.